So let's take a look at this flight path idea. I'm going to start with a box and I'm just going to make it a meter down on the Z. Let's give it loads of segments like 100. Yeah, that looks okay. And let's select those, delete. F3, point it down the Z. There we go. Now I'm going to be pretty non-committal about this and I'm going to OD copy and paste. Okay. In layout, let's get that 2-point poly chain. So from OD copy paste, layout, that one. There we go. So there's my 2-point poly, a meter deep. P to bring up the properties. Let's remove these and keep the nodal displacement. Let's get a curve. So I'm just going to add a little bit of a bow to this and I'm going to use the curve. I think a make vector as well. Make a vector. They're all 0, that's good. So I'm going to use the Y alpha there into that. Okay, so the curve node works slightly different from everything else in LightWave. Let's take the alpha and it's at a value of 1, so let's 0 it out. So that's good there. Then we want it to change down the Z. Oh, now zooming in is a pain in the bum here. What's the fit all? No, fit selected. Just try that one. F. Oh, what's going on here? F. Yeah, okay, we're just about there. Okay, so 1 meter. Here we go. 1 meter, come on, here we go. So at this point at 1 meter, let's put a keyframe in there. A value again of 0 and a position of 1. And then I'm going to add a keyframe in the middle. Oops, undo that. Let's turn that off, select that one and delete it. Okay. Now Shift F works. Okay, so it doesn't like just one key being there. Okay, let's never mind that. Let's move that down. And we'll take this up, shall we? A bit like this. That's fine. I suppose we could be properly anal about it and have it right in the middle. Okay, that's good enough for now. Let's close that down. What's that? Let's remove that. Let's close that down and turn it off. Turn it off from the render and then item, clone instance, this one here. Get the instance generator up for that, which I've got here. Great, let's set that to a radial array. Let's give it some instances first. And we'll also make sure we can see it. So front wireframe, here we go. That's nice. Radius, let's bring in a little bit. 1 centimeter, and then rotation, alignment, rim. Okay, I think we're pretty much there for this. Let's make that slightly wider. Perhaps we can offset just to take out some of that uniformity. Something like that. Anyway, scale again. Let's take this down so we've got varying lengths. In fact, rather than scale, let's try stretching it. See if that. Okay, that's just as nice. In fact, that's probably better in a way. So there, and then less or more. That's kind of nice. And if we want a bit of variety on the height, we can squash up and down. Perhaps we can push that up. Bit of randomness there. few more paths, possibly. I don't like these flat ones. Perhaps we'll bring that. Oh, I've got minus 100. That's why. Let's take that further up like that. We can play with the seed. And of course, we can also just have it pointing off in one direction, I guess. But let's keep it the full 360. Okay. So let's look a bit at texturing first. So let's turn off the global illumination. Environment light. I'll tell you what, let's just kill the lights entirely and put an ambient light in there. Ambient light, let's make that 80%. Ooh, not 800. 100, that's fine. Okay, what does that give us? That gives us nice thin lines. Close that down. Let's select the original object and press P and hit. Go over to edges and we'll give it a minus number. That's probably way too thick. In fact, let's take out this just to speed things up. So 0.1. In fact, to keep it a little bit quicker, let's add a viewport and we'll make that at VPR. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now I want to grow from the center and I want to grow out, but I don't want them all growing out at the same time. Actually, we'll make that a little bit thicker like this. I'm going to add a null. Let's just call it mover for now. Okay. Let's move it down here. And I'm going to animate that Y, so let's turn off modified channels. And let's go to 30 frames 1. So we're just animating between 0 and 1. Let's graph editor, let's bring that up, select those F1 and drag right, so that's that sorted, so that should ease in and out nicely. Okay, that's good. Now let's go over to our original object and let's edit nodes. We'll get a Db&w channel node, channel blender, that one there. Let's get the object's position. Let's get a logic. We'll turn BP on here. So we want the Z into A and output into there. So if it's A is, let's put this on 0.5. A is less than B. There we go. So 0 to 1, that works. Let's get an item info. Let's use this one and we'll get the Y information from that. Let's close that down. So what we should see is we scrub through here. Oh, I haven't selected the item. Select the item. Mover. Here we go. So, here we go. All coming out there like that. Let's get an instance. Spot instance and a random. Random scalar. So we'll take the index of those instances and we'll put this in the time. And that has offset what we need, I think. Let's change the start, so minus and 0. Yeah, that's working quite nicely. So -2, let's say, for even slower. Now I think if we got an add and put this in here, gave that a number, I think what that would change our seed if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it does. Cool. So let's take that down a little bit actually. Let's do a quick preview. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. That works. That'll work nicely. Cool. Okay, so how could we take that further? Well, we could vary the widths, I guess. So let's copy and paste that. Perhaps we use the same seed. I know, let's use a different, well, it doesn't matter, does it? Okay, so we'll take it from 0 to 1. So this value here is 1 and this is 0. So we could vary each. Actually, so multiply. Math scalar, multiply. Let's multiply these two together. Cool, okay, so we could go from 0.5 to 1. Perhaps we can make that a little bigger. Ah, this thing where there's this bug where LightWave loses focus as to where the mouse is, I think. This really drives me crazy. Okay, so there's 0.3. So we could go from, so this would be 0.3, 0.5. So we could take that down. There's a nice bit of variety. Or perhaps we could let's add a turbulence. Perhaps we could inkify it up a little bit. Let's make this a bit smaller. Okay, you can definitely see that. I'm not sure how useful that would be, but that's an option. Yeah, but for now, pleased with that. The only downside to this, if we get too close, sometimes when we get between points, we get like a hollow tube. So that would be black, but I've got enough points in here, I think, that it's not actually showing up. So that is all good. Okay, nice effect.